خاتوو سەیران ئاتەش پارێزەر و چاڵەکوانی واری مافەکانی مرۆڤ و مافی ژنانە. ئەم خاتوونە تایبەتمەندی خۆی هەیە بەوەی کە یەکەمین مەلای ژنە لە ئەوروپادا کە ئەمە بابەتێکە زۆر گرنگە و بابەتەکەی ئەو لە ڕاستیدا قسەکردنە لەسەر بەمێینەکردنی ئاین بە تایبەتی لە سروتە ئاینیەکانیدا. ئەو لە هەندێک کتێبدا ئیشی لەسەر ئەم بابەتە کردووە، مەسەلەن Islam needs a sexual revolution و نوێترین کتێبیشی کە لەسەر ئەزمونەکەی خۆیەتی سەلام مس ئیمام How I Opened a Liberal Mosque in Berlin. بابەتەکەی بە ناونیشانی Islam and Reforms Women Rights. Please, you have 15 minutes.
Thank you. I'm sorry I had a little cold. Ladies and gentlemen, Excellencies, first of all, I will thank you for the invitation and the opportunity to speak here. It's a pleasure for me. And thank you for all the very best inputs and the speeches what I heard this whole day. I try not to reply so much what the others already told about. I can sign all of your positions and explanations about domestic violence and women as sexual objects. I'm working more than 30 years as a women's rights fighter, and I'm a lawyer for family law in Berlin. And I work very much with Muslim women, so I know what I'm talking about. And before I say something about Islam and reforms in Islam, quite big challenge in 15 minutes, I have to underline that I don't want to offend anybody and his belief and faith in God or other worldview. Please don't take it as an offense what I'm saying and what I'm doing. I believe in the merciful God and full of love for human beings. And I believe in the mind of human beings. It's not enough time to share all of my opinions about political Islam and the evil in our societies. The only thing what I know is that the political Islam is not only a product of religious people from Islamic countries. It's definitely also, maybe more, a product of Western politics. No Western country wants to have a real democratic and secular Islamic countries. That's my opinion. They do everything what they can do and spend lots of money for weapons and other business to keep the Islamic countries in the time before Middle Age. Why Trump is in a good friendship with Saudi Arabia? Why is Saudi Arabia not on the list of Trump's visa list? Germany as well sells tons of weapons to Saudi Arabia and other places where war is running. And the Wahhabi finance radical Islam in Western countries. They spend lots of money for hate prayers and mosques in Germany, in Netherlands, and France, all over the world. You all know that. I think so. And that's the point. Don't let us talk about the possibility to change our society with the eyes of Western countries. Don't talk and discuss about reforms in Islam looking from Western interests and say Islam cannot be reformed. Jewish people, and I have very much friends from Jewish religion, worked and work on reforms as Christians do as well. I have many Christian friends, many Protestants. Why it should be impossible in Islam? There's no logical argument against reform in Islam. Otherwise, Jewish people or Christian couldn't reform their religion too. We have to interpret our religion in a historical, critical way, including a special view of the role of women. From 2006 till 2009, I was a member of the German Islam Conference as a Muslim and feminist. This is not impossible. The Muslim side of the participants, majoritarian Muslim associations with a Turkish Sunni focus, didn't accept me and other individuals with a human rights background as Muslims. This is our second war field, fundamentalist Muslims. They are good friends in mind with Western countries when it comes to political Islam. Why could the political Islam grow? Why could the political Islam grow in Western countries? Why Western feminists fight for the headscarf and burqa, even for little childs, even in first grade schools? Because they mean it's the only way Islam can be. Because they believe it's our tradition, it's our culture, it's our religion. They explain us our religion. And they say it has to be like that. Every Muslim woman has to wear a headscarf. Is that true? No, definitely not. We can have reforms in Islam. We Muslims want to have Islam. We have to want reforms. We can change our societies to better societies, to a real democracy with human rights. But we have to want it. Since 2009, since 8 years, and this was the solution for me after the 4 years Islam conference, and the result for me personally, to do something, to act, not just in theory, also in practice. 8 years now I'm working on the idea to realize a mosque for all. One that provides an inclusive space that welcomes all people in their diversity. Men and women and all genders in their diversity of beliefs, faiths, opinions, and sexual orientations. Muslims from all kinds of schools coming together, praying, discussing, and giving Islam another face than terror. Finally, this year, 16th of June, we will open our mosque in Berlin. We are right in the organization and finished all the bureaucracy stuff. We are doing a kind of revolution in our century. We are giving liberal Muslims and Islam a place and faces. We should do it. It's our responsibility because people are more and more used to an Islam which is conservative and not liberal, which is radical and terror. I believe that we are not only responsible for what we do, we are also responsible for what we are not doing. We leave our youth and our kids alone with the fundamentalists and radical hate prayers. There are 2,800 mosques in Germany, only in Germany, and we leave our kids alone with them. And none of them is liberal or secular singing or behind the human rights. We have to teach our kids a peaceful Islam. We in our mosque will have men and women leading the prayer. We accept our imams in the way they pray, with or without headscarf. Our mosque is one of the aspects of the change in Muslim communities and Islamic world. Our mosque is one of the practical solutions, as somebody asked today, where are the solutions, where are the practical solutions? It's not only theory what we have to do and research, academical work, we have to act. This is one of such a solution. You can do it here as well in Kurdistan. You can be the first in Islamic countries, and you can be a role model, as you anyway are in some many points. The name of our mosque is Ibn Rushd Goethe Mosque. Two names for enlightenment and bridge makers between Orient and Occident for one world. My idea was not new. I'm not the one and the first and the only. We are not the first Jamaat doing this. It began with Imam Amina Wadud in New York, the Inclusive Mosque Initiative in London, Imam Annie Sonneveld in the USA. She's original from Malaysia, living in Los Angeles, and she will come to our mosque for the opening in June to Berlin and do the azan and singing religious songs. Imam Sherin Kankan in Denmark, and the two famous mosques in Cape Town of Imam Muhsin Hendricks and Dr. Tai Hargi. Why men and women should not pray in the same room, and why a female imam should not pray in front of a mixed group. Because of the way how we pray and her back. People say that. I say, when you go in a mosque, you are going to God. You are not going in a bar. You are not going in a disco. One should not see a man or a woman in a mosque. One should be able to concentrate in this contact to God, no matter if there is a man or a woman around him or her. And why everybody automatically think men and women are pray behind her or in front each other? Women could stay beside the man. Men could pray on one side and women on the other side of the room, but in the same hall, in the same space. How you feel comfortable, please do it like you want. Why in the name of God, most of the Muslims sexualized women even in the mosque, as they do 24 hours in our families and societies? Most of the people are scared to change their life, their traditions, their beliefs, even when traditions had to be changed. Some traditions are against human rights. They are to be changed. They have to change. The time for change is now, because radical groups like IS and other radical Muslims, with the help from Western power, draw a picture of an Islam which is not what I knew about what is possible in Islam and what my peaceful mom taught to me. Islam could be peace. Islam can be peace when we use it for peace. Every religion can be used for war or for peace. When I pray as a human, not as a female, standing along the side of other human, a man, and praying with him as equal in front of a God without gender. God has no gender. Okay. The biggest problem in Islamic countries is sexualizing every encounter of man and woman, seeing women just as a sexual object which belongs to man. We are not properties of man or families. We are human beings with individual rights of self-determined life. My body belongs to me. But not only women are victims of this attitude, men are also not free in their sexuality and their lifestyle. Cultural and religious traditions and rules of large families become shackles and take people's freedom and the air to breathe. Islamic countries need a sexual revolution, as Wilhelm Reich has described in his book, Sexual Revolution. Coming to the last point. In addition, a platform should be created for the teaching of believers, Sufis, and other Islamic scholars who made an effort for tolerance and peace among dissidents. We are inviting people to come to Berlin and to share their knowledge with us. Well-known Islamic scholars stood with their lives and their work for the bridge built between Islam and the Enlightenment, always striving for tolerance and world peace. Not to forget the marvelous Johann Wolfgang Goethe, a poet of philosopher who discovered in Islam the love for nature and God in the nature. Of course, our doors are also open to those who are committed to monotheism, Judaism or Christianity, to those who believe in other gods, or also to those who don't believe in God to enter into a dialogue with us. The belief in God, who has created everything, includes this to our view. I will invite you to think about yourself. What are you really doing for a change in our societies? Break with the traditions which are prisons for freedom. Break the chain. Let's fight for freedom, for our freedom, for men and women, for a better future for our kids. Thank you.